Nigeria's federal universities workers, academic and non-academic, had hoped that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was going to be their liberator from the workers' unions leaders, academic and non-academic, stalling the implementation of the 2009 agreement, bordering on increment of salaries and work and welfare packages, including retirement and post-retirement welfare. The 2009 agreement, very vital on increment of salaries and welfare packages, including welfare of retirees. But the workers' unions leaders, academic and non-academic, have been getting a fraud called End Academic Allowance since 2013 till date. But unfortunately, President Tinubu disappointed the workers and instead paid another fraudulent End Academic Allowance in 2025. The last time the federal universities workers got increment of salaries, properly so called, was 2009. Another one was due in 2013 to be based on the 2009 agreement. But from that year, 2013 till date, 2025, between the leaders of the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, ASU, and federal government, it has been the so-called End Academic Allowance rather than implementation of the 2009 agreement. And all hopes that President Tinubu will do justice has failed. Rather, he paid another fraudulent End Academic Allowance rather than implementing the 2009 agreement. Where do federal universities go from here? When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declared increment of salaries for Nigeria's tertiary academic institutions, it was a general thing based on 25/35% percentages of the existing salary scales, which for federal universities workers dates back to 2009, while the other tertiary academic institutions, polytechnics and colleges of education, have been having regular increment of salaries. So, the main grounds of Nigeria's federal universities workers to get implementation of the 2009 agreement implemented has not seen the light of day. And once the so-called End Academic Allowance has been paid by government, nobody talks about 2009 agreement again. That is the level of corruption and injustice being perpetrated by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, upholding corruption and injustice against Nigeria's federal universities workers. The beneficiaries, the main beneficiaries of the end academic allowance are the union's leaders who pocket millions of naira, and also a percentage of the so-called end academic allowance at national and branch levels to the union. So, that is for the academic and non-academic workers. Their increment of salary stalled for them since 2013. With particular reference to the members of the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, they had hoped that with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will liberate them from extortion of a percentage of their salaries monthly by the leadership of ASU. Unfortunately, under the same President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2024, the hitherto 2% of each ASU members' monthly salary being extorted increased to 3% under the person they had hoped would liberate them from the extortion. So, I have said I leave it to the court of God. But insofar as it continues to be a sore, an excruciating pain as to how a workers' union will entitle itself to a percentage of each worker's monthly salary monthly, and also sitting on their allowances and getting a money that is not their allowances from government and calling it their allowance. That is the level of corruption, inhumanity of human beings to fellow human beings in the name of a workers' leadership. I mean, it is as bad as removing subsidies from basic necessities of life only to be subsidizing pilgrimages. Look at it. So look at Nigeria. Nigeria is in total mess, and not every Nigerian is aware of it. And so when I speak about ASU and the injustices going on with government, the universities administrators colluding with the leaders of the workers' unions, so wrecking the system. Because when you demoralize the teachers, the lecturers, what do you think you are doing? So if you treat them anyhow, they will do their best, and that's all. You see, when you make life impossible for them, they can only do whatever they can do. So they need encouragement. They need to be giving incentive. But where is the incentive? Their salaries stalled. Increment of salaries stalled. What they are getting, the union leaders are taking a percentage of it. 2012 to 2024, 2%. As from 2024, under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 3%. So, and these are leaders at national university levels. What else is the main of Nigeria? And because you are not in the university, what about your children? What about your brothers and sisters who are there? What about your relatives who are there? Besides, is that to the glory of Nigeria? Is that to the benefit of Nigeria? Is it a positive sign for Nigeria's progress or a wreckage? And yet, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be prouding himself as a good ruler. But are you? You expect ASU members to say you are a good ruler. You expect federal universities workers are meant to say that you are a good ruler. Paying fraudulent and academic allowance, even after being told by a whistleblower myself severally, these issues I've raised with you. Yes, on social media. You want to tell me your people are not on social media? And if your people are not there, that is part of your wickedness and insensitivity and unreadiness to listen to any outcry. Whistleblower or not, you don't care. Human misery seems to give you joy. Because federal universities workers are miserable under workers' unions leaders that are stalling increment of salaries for them and getting fraudulent and academic allowances in their names, rather than allowing them to get their own allowances by themselves. Workers' unions leaders are now getting it on their behalf. Are they slaves to the workers' unions leaders? To the agreement of federal universities, administrators, and government itself. Leadership. Good leadership. The bane of Africa. Leadership deficit. In Nigerian context, a case study of Nigeria.